Project 2025, an explanation of a Trump presidency wish list. Democrats led by President Joe Biden are organizing opposition to what they see as a potential Trump administration in November. The Conservative Heritage Foundation created the blueprint known as Project 2025, which is one of many think tank recommendations supporting Trump's agenda. It spans more than 900 pages and includes proposals for massive tax cuts, the removal of thousands of government servants, an increase in presidential power, and the dissolution of the Department of Education and other federal institutions. After President Biden's dismal performance in the debate, the Heritage Foundation revealed their program in April 2023, and leftist opposition grew stronger. At that time, former President Trump was leading in surveys. In a podcast interview at the beginning of July, Heritage President Kevin Roberts brought up the possibility of political violence. If the left permits it to, the Second American Revolution, which is presently underway, will remain bloodless, Mr. Roberts stated in an interview with the War Room podcast, which was started by Trump advisor Steve Bannon. The Biden campaign said that Trump and his supporters were dreaming of a violent revolution to destroy the very idea of America in response to the remarks. The remarks have brought Project 2025 back into prominence. Washington think tanks frequently suggest policy wish lists to prospective administrations in waiting. During his presidency, Barack Obama's leftist Center for American Progress, for instance, was referred to as his ideas factory. Regarding Project 2025, what has Trump stated? Trump said on social media at the beginning of July that he knows nothing about Project 2025. "I'm not sure who's behind it. I disagree with a few of their statements, and I think that some of them are really absurd and terrible," the man wrote. "Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them." But a number of those associated with the initiative were either allies or employees of Trump's throughout his re-election campaign. Paul Dans, the director of Project 2025, served as Trump's chief of staff at the Office of Personnel Management. Former special assistant to President Trump, Spencer Chrétien served as associate director of presidential personnel advisor Russell Vaught's office within the President's Office of Management and Budget. Project 2025. What is it? 4 primary goals are outlined in the Project 2025 document. Re-establish the family as the cornerstone of American society, demolish the administrative state, protect the country's boundaries and sovereignty, and protect each person's inalienable right to live in freedom. It is one of numerous policy documents for a program commonly referred to as Agenda 47, so named because, should he win, Trump would become the 47th President of the United States. According to Heritage, Project 2025 was drafted by a number of former Trump officials and incorporates suggestions from over 100 conservative organizations. Here is a summary of some important recommendations. Authorities Project 2025 puts forth the contentious unitary executive theory notion, which calls for the direct presidential supervision of all federal bureaucracy, including independent agencies like the Department of Justice. In actuality, that would expedite the decision-making process and provide the president the authority to carry out several programs directly. Thousands of federal workers would lose their employment protections under the proposals, and their positions may be filled by political appointees. The FBI is called a bloated, arrogant, increasingly lawless organization in the letter, which also demands significant changes to be made to other federal departments, including the Department of Education. Immigration. The plan suggests increasing money for a wall on the US-Mexico border, one of Trump's top priorities in 2016. More noticeable, though, are the several US immigration agencies' mergers and significant authority increases. Additional suggestions include raising immigration taxes and enabling expedited applications for those who pay a higher cost. The economy and climate. The memo urges the next president to end the war on oil and natural gas and suggests cutting federal funding for renewable energy research and investment. The focus would shift from carbon reduction to boosting energy production and security. The article presents two opposing perspectives on tariffs and expresses disagreement about whether the next president should work to increase export barriers or promote free trade. However, the economic experts recommend that a second Trump government dissolve the Federal Reserve, cut income and corporate taxes, and even think about going back to a currency backed by gold. There is no national ban on abortions in Abortion Project 2025. It does, however, suggest taking the abortion drug mifepristone off the market. Technology and learning pornography would be illegal under the plans, and telecom and tech firms that allow users to access it would have to close. The manifesto criticizes woke propaganda and advocates for parental control over education, as well as school choice. A comprehensive list of phrases including sexual orientation, diversity, equity and inclusion, gender equality, abortion, and reproductive rights are to be removed from all government rules and laws. The Democratic congressman from California, Jared Huffman, has established a task force to stop Project 2025, a dystopian plot that's already in motion to dismantle our democratic institutions, was how he put Project 2025. We need a coordinated strategy to save America and stop this coup before it's too late, Mr. Huffman said of the initiative, which would abolish checks and balances, chip away at church-state separation, and impose a far-right agenda that infringes on basic liberties and violates public will. Heritage earlier said that by using an unserious, mistake-ridden press release, Mr. Biden's party was inciting fear. Early in June, Mr. Roberts declared, House Democrats are dedicating taxpayer dollars to launch a smear campaign against the united effort to restore self-governance to everyday Americans. Our borders have been breached, our institutions have been taken over by woke ideology, and the federal government has been weaponized against American citizens under the Biden administration. Among the many powerful think tanks that have published policy papers intended to direct a potential Trump second term is the Heritage Foundation. Heritage has been producing similar policy pamphlets as part of its Mandate for Leadership series since the 1980s. Supported by a $22 million, £17 million budget, Project 2025 also lays out plans for putting policies into action starting in January 2025, the day after the president is inaugurated. Trump has supported several of the concepts in Project 2025 in speeches and on his website, but his campaign has insisted that the candidate has the last word on matters of policy. If put into practice, several of the ideas would be immediately challenged in court. Talk about your ideas.